Well, my name is Connie Huerta, and I totally love London.
My name is Larry Bierman.
Larry Bierman, pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much.
Pleasure to meet you.
I go already?
Can I talk already? Okay.
Mi nombre es Migdalia Zeta.
Sí, Natalia?
Migdalia.
Mitalia.
Uh-huh.
Muy bien.
I arrived in London, California, much the same way I arrived in every other London. Not quite sure what to expect, but excited to explore and meet some people. The streets were empty, and the people I tried to interview at first declined to be interviewed, saying they had work. I tried finding friends, but all I could find were dogs, angry dogs, and some chickens. I went on in search of London residents, hoping to find out more. The first person I was able to talk to in depth was Larry Bierman, who gave me all the history and information I needed to know about London.
Truly, most people are really good people here.
Mm-hmm.
I like them all. They get along. I get along with everybody here. At times it can be hectic, but I love it here. You know, there's not a lot to do here, but it can be comfortable living.
Mm-hmm.
People think it's a really bad outlaw town and this and that, and it can be at times. But it can be comfortable on the other hand. In cities, you don't know everybody. People know everybody here. My parents came here from down south in San Diego and LA in that area.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the 50s, I believe. 50, maybe, no, in the 60s. 62 we came here. Now you're with here, you're from London.
I'm from London, yeah.
London, England.
Yeah.
Now, they did do you know about the commercial that was filmed here?
No.
There was a commercial filmed here. It was a Nike commercial. Let's do it, yeah. They filmed it next to my brother's house. It was filmed here.
Wow.
And they show a picture of a white guy, which is my son. And on his back, he has a London tattooed on his back.
What do you want me to ask you about London?
Okay, that's even better. I want you to ask me about my aunt and uncle that owned the store here in town.
Can you tell me more about your aunt and uncle?
Well, my aunt was, years ago, my aunt Geneva Keltner, she, they had a post office there. You can't take all this for fact, this is what I know. The town used to be called New London when I was a kid. New London. She had it was called London Rural Station. She had to change the name to London because New London Rural Station wouldn't work for some reason.
Oh.
So she changed the name from New London to London. A guy lived there in Delft. Do you know Delft, the little town up here?
No.
He came here and he's the one that started London. Delft is way down there about 2 miles.
Yeah.
My dad says it was back when he was a kid and he's born in 35. So somewhere in that area.
Passing through.
Who have you talked to so far? A lot of people?
No. It's hard to get everyone to speak. Or maybe I've just been finding the wrong people. But everyone seems busy.
They don't know who you are.
Yeah.
See, this town's really, they stick together.
Mm-hmm.
They have no idea. Do you speak Spanish?
I spoke very bad Spanish to one Hispanic lady.
But the town here hasn't been out of control in about a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
It's gotten a little better.
What does out of control mean?
Gang shootings,
Yeah.
shooting every night, and wild stuff.
Why would that happen? Or
I guess, you know, kids grow up and they want to be gang members and then they get into it with other people and then it starts getting that way.
Mm-hmm.
It could be over drugs or whatever, I don't know.
Yeah.
I had it happen to my house. We had a drive-by on my house.
Oh man. Was everyone okay? Or?
Yeah, we made it through there, but the bullets came through and we were standing there. That's terrible.
That's horrifying.
If you ever in something like that, you'll never want it again.
How has it been fixed?
Well, it just kind of went away.
Mm-hmm. Was it?
It was due to my son and family members that got into it with the guys from here in town.
Damn.
They were friends when they were young, and then you get older, things happen.
Yeah, and is it all just like London-based people, or is it people from out of town as well?
No, it's London-based people.
Yeah, wow.
Maybe Traver.
Yeah.
And places like that. And I think there should be more help for this town because it's a small town. We get the reputation with it's just London, and the people from around think it's a bad town, and we need to get help. The churches, there's a couple of churches in town now. They're starting to really help out, and I like that. I think that's really a positive thing. And One of the churches gives away food, the other one next where the park is now, they help the kids with soccer and go to church and stuff. And it's really some positive stuff starting to happen, but we need more help. And just like the center here, the center right here where there's basketball courts and a nice place over there to play basketball. Right over here. Have you went by there and filmed that yet?
No. How do I get
down to
there?
this road, make a right. It's right on your right. People here are low income, most of them, and a lot of them really struggle. They need help. You know what I mean? And because if you grow up and you don't have certain things to do, you tend to lean towards other things, and that's all there is here. Most of these people work in fields. A lot of them now are working in, like for Lyles and BCM, underground digging and stuff in other towns, and they're starting to get their foot in the ground to make some big money, and they're getting paid good money for doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, putting in the sewer and water and all that. There's quite a bit of them here in town starting to do that. And I appreciate people that work other places and bring their work and let these people go work there, and they learn a better life. So that's good.
Do a lot of people move out after finishing high school or going to college, or when they go to, or do a lot of people
Some
go to college?
do, but mostly people stay here because the rent's cheap, or to own a house here is a lot reasonable. People can afford to stay here.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm staying. I own my home, and I don't want to go somewhere where I don't know my neighbors and all that. It's a little more difficult. And there's no, like they said, there's no book how to do things, but there is a book to do it better. Treat kids better, treat people better. You know, treat people as you want to be treated, and it usually works out pretty good.
I took his advice and went down to the community center, where I met some wonderful people, namely Connie Huerta and some of her younger co-workers at the community center.
My name is Connie Huerta, and I totally love London. I've worked in the community. It's going to be 16 years, and there's a lot of good, hardworking people with a good heart, with the intention of coming here. A lot of them came from Mexico. They migrated here so they can to better their families. They come here to work, to be able to provide for their families. And not only are they providing for their families nowadays, is they're encouraging them to continue their education, to continue to go to college. So families here, a lot of the parents, grandparents, there's 60, 70-year-olds that actually work in the fields, and it's so they can send their kids to college so they can have better lives than they did, you know, when they were back in Mexico. It's a community center. We provide a lot of prevention services, prevention from drugs, alcohol, and promote a lot of mental wellness. And the kids, they're able to come here to look for jobs, to do homework, for other activities. Right now it's kind of different with the whole COVID, but we're still providing, even from a distance, we're still able to provide different services. Like we had pancakes with Santa. Last week, we gave out backpacks, we gave out toys, food. We do different services, and we have a great team here. There's 4 of us that work here. There's a youth worker, and then there's 3 community liaisons. So we're just super happy and super excited what 2021 is going to bring. So I love this community. They're very good heart, kind-hearted people. They make bomb tamales, the best food ever, the best Mexican food ever, and they're very united. It's a very isolated, very close-knitted community. They stick together. They come together for gatherings, and I love that. They're very family-oriented, and there's a lot of togetherness. There's some unity here in this community.
I feel like Dinuba High School, they're really inclusive, and it's mostly like Hispanic kids.
Yeah.
So when, I don't know, just like that connection, like, oh, your dad works in the fields, mine too. Oh, I didn't know that. Like, I don't know, I feel like that gives us like a sense of hope, like we're gonna be something in life.
It's really hard to be able to work in the farm. It's something, to me it was very difficult. Every day waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning to be able to make your lunch, and then if you have a husband, if you have family, you have to be able to make sure they go with lunch too, and then get my baby's diaper bag ready, you know, take them to the babysitter. It was very good experience for me to be able to work in the farm labor, because I was able to know what's the sacrifice for all those people to come from Mexico and to live, like, you know, the dream of being American, living in the American state of America. And it's very, I appreciate all those people that do come from Mexico to come and work and, you know, be able to come and make a big difference. It's a toll. When I used to work picking peaches, I would actually be carrying a ladder
Oh my God.
10 hours a day, from 5 o'clock in the morning to 3 o'clock. And I still had to get home and still cook for my husband, still be able to go pick up my son, feed my brother and feed my dad, because at the time I was living still with my dad. So it was really hard to be able to carry a box, or it was a full bag to carry fruit, and that bag was close to 30 to 45 pounds a day.
Yeah.
So it was a kill.
Jesus.
I was working in the field still 2015, 16, and 17, and then she came around my life and she helped me, and she told me there was a program and there was going to be a position opening. So I was scared. I was afraid, because I'm a U.S. citizen, but all my family have came from Mexico, and they didn't have papers at one time.
Mm-hmm.
So, be able to step forward and be actually someone different compared to my brothers, it was very difficult, because we're afraid of immigration status, of other little things that just could pull us away from succeeding in life. So when I met Connie, she pushed me, and now it's easy for me to be able to help all these farm workers here in this community and other communities.
It takes one person, because there's like all these people that work in field labor and all this stuff, and it's just that one person that could change everyone else, like the rest of the family's life,
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I want to be that one person. After graduating from high school, I want to go to Reedley College, which is like 10 minutes from here, and then transfer to either Fresno State or Fresno Pacific to be a social worker.
I also had a conversation with a lady named Mitalia, but my Spanish is not very good, so I didn't necessarily understand any of it. That said, give the conversation a watch.
¿Le gusta vivir en Londres? Sí, aquí. Sí. ¿Cuál le gusta sobre Londres? Sobre London o Londres?
¿Qué es lo que me gusta?
¿Qué es tus cosas favoritas de Londres, de London?
Pues su tranquilidad,
Sí.
y luego aquí en este pueblo se vive muy a gusto.
Sí. ¿Y es su niño?
Sí.
Sí. ¿Y tiene un niño o más?
Tengo 2 niños y una niña.
Sí. Y para escuela, ¿dónde está la escuela?
Aquí en la comunidad de London van a la escuela aquí en River School, aquí en Kingsburg.
Uh-huh. Sí.
Y los más grandes van a la high school a Dinuba.
Sí. ¿Cuántas personas queda en London después de escuela o trabajo alguno?
Pues cuando es en tiempo de temporada y tiempo de escuela, casi pocas personas. De hecho, se echa de ver en la tienda que casi no hay clientes, por lo mismo de que los niños van a la escuela y los padres de familia, la mayoría trabaja en el campo y se van al trabajo. 1 o 2 personas son los que andan aquí, en la tienda a veces no hay clientes.
Sí.
Ya empiezan a ver ya de las 3 para adelante gente en la calle, en la tienda igualmente.
Muy bien. Y finalmente, ¿qué es hacer para fun, enjoyment, para divertido?
¿Para deportes?
Sí.
Oh, okay. A veces también hay un centro de diversión aquí en el centro, como hay juegos para niños, donde pueden jugar basquetbol, fútbol.
Sí.
Ahí donde se pueden ir.
Okay, muy bien, muchas gracias.
I finished my trip outside Larry's house, eating hot Cheetos that Connie and her team had so kindly given me at the community centre. I knew that I had just gotten a taste of London, that I hadn't gotten the whole picture, but I knew it would be foolish to try and figure it out all in one go. So much of London remains to be seen.